Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our afternoon edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars Live Feed Spoilers. The Veto Ceremony has been completed. We know what's happening. It may not be a surprise. There was hope, though, that maybe things could change, so we will get into it. Before we do, if you guys do like this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more, and support us further. Just check those links. We have the store where we have t-shirts, mugs, and other cool stuff, but also our Patreon. We have a lot of different tiers we're checking out there, including live chats. It's a great way to support us if you love everything that we are doing here at the channel.
So yesterday things got a little bit crazy with the wall yeller who said that Cody and Nicole, they were playing everyone, and it made people really paranoid. Everybody was starting to wonder what was going on. Everybody was starting to kind of turn on people. So there were a couple of pushes to get some other people on the block, namely Danny on the block. But it didn't end up actually working. Christmas is still on. She has gone on the block. She has put herself on the block.
Yeah.
By request to Enzo to be the pawn for him to get Kaser out. And it's a pretty predictable, boring idea here because Kaser will probably go home.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty cut and dry week at this point, and it is a disappointment because there was so much, should we nominate Danny talk that was going on, and I gotta throw a possibility out there that I've thought about since this morning, and let's be clear. I do not like this possibility in the slightest, but I still have to say it. What if a lot of this backdoor, all this replacement nominee conversation and all that sort of stuff with Danny, what if it really was just sparked by the diary room wanting some drama for the show, and maybe we're all reading too much into it. I don't want to dump cold water on it. I want to believe that there was an actual chance that Enzo was going to nominate Danny, because that's just way, way more fun if we're being honest.
I think there probably was. I mean, that really did seem to get them. I mean, I've watched that video where Christmas hears clearly what was said over the wall, and you could see the change in her face that right before it cut, that she was just like, oh no, what is this sort of thing? So I think the paranoia was very real. The thing that I worry about for Enzo is because so much talk was happening around Danny and putting Danny up, and even though he didn't do it, her name was in his mouth. So that is going to end up getting back to Danny because no one has been able to keep really any secrets this season.
It's a bizarre sort of past 24 hours for Enzo, because it is like, on the surface, I don't obviously like the idea of having a predictable next few days with Christmas staying and all of that. I think it's way more fun if she volunteers to go on the block and is voted off, because let's remember, pawns go home and people should never put themselves on the block willingly. It's just a position where Enzo has talked so much about this now. He has let the toothpaste out of the tube, and unless everyone suddenly is just like so anti-Danny that they all keep information from her, which doesn't feel that likely, I think we're probably going to be building towards a bad ending here eventually, especially if she gets power and they just want to push a couple of people as a possible target.
Yeah, I think Danny is going to catch wind of this and she is going to be really pissed off. And we know that she's been, fairly good at snaking around this season. Some stuff hasn't worked out, but some stuff has worked out. And I think if she gets a little bit of power, Enzo is probably going to be in trouble. So he should have just taken the shot at that point. If you're going to entertain it as much as he did, just take the shot. It would have worked out. No one was going to be that mad about it except for Danny and Nicole, and that's it.
This is where I land on this, is that if he had just been like, no, I'm not going to listen to any other ideas or suggestions, and just gone ahead with the Christmas plan, like, it's okay to hear people out, but as much as he was entertaining it, it's a tough, really just difficult line to walk, and I think he's sort of stumbling now a little bit, and now he puts himself in a position where he's reliant on other people to not throw him under the bus, and that's not a great place to be all that much, especially when Enzo is technically not even in the Blob Alliance. He's just Blob adjacent.
Yeah, and it's not even like Enzo can really go and just smooth this over with Danny without burning everybody that, said her name. He's in a really tough spot with this. He really does have to trust that no one is going to go and talk to Danny about it.
Yeah, and that is risky given how much people talk. And in sort of, shifting over now to Kaser, like, I saw this right before we came on, that Kaser, I want to say he's full, like, oh, I'm just gonna go and be evicted now. Like, he's not full, woe is me, but I think Kaser is sort of like, I know I don't have the votes. Like, I know I'm screwed. He seems like I don't want him to accept his fate, but I think he's aware of how almost impossible a situation he is now officially in.
Yeah, before the wall yeller, I did think that there was a possibility that Christmas could actually end up going home on this because Cody doesn't really like her that much. They've been, really irritating each other a lot.
Yeah.
Nicole and Danny want her out, so that's 3. Ian will vote with Nicole, that is 4. Davon and Bailey, they want to keep Kaser, that is 6. So it could happen, but now with the wall yeller coming in, I kind of wonder if Nicole's just going to want to really lay low this week because now that's twice that a wall yeller has come and had her name in their mouths and are saying stuff about them. So it's not a great week for Nicole to really take a shot at anybody. She needs to lay low.
And the other part of this, and this is, I think, kind of just unintended, but Kevin and Christmas are now a little bit closer, and I kind of thought, okay, Kevin would have been a number for those underdogs, but Kevin doesn't really even like Kaser all that much. Like, he finds Kaser to be very condescending at times, and I think at this point, he's got someone he's kind of sort of working with, and he's kind of sort of working with Enzo amazingly now, too. I mean, regardless of how serious that is, if he goes against Enzo's wishes, and Enzo has said he wants Kaser gone, that's pretty much going to cut whatever tie foreseeably is there. I don't know where the numbers are for Kaser at this point.
Yeah, I'm just not sure unless they do decide to take that shot at Christmas. It looks like we're going to be losing Kaser, and then after that it will kind of be a bit of a free-for-all depending on who's the HOH.
Here is the thing, and this is where, I'm not going to rag on Enzo too much. He's your winner pick. I don't want to, be Mr. Negative on Enzo here, but he's like talking and sort of saying, okay, somebody else can take this shot. Or he'll talk to his Slick Six and be like, okay, somebody out of the Slick Six can take this shot. And we know Danny's already got the Blob Alliance here. It's like,
yep.
Who is gonna actually take a shot at Danny at this point? You gonna bring the Zingbot down, and the Zingbot's gonna be HOH and do it because nobody else is apparently allowed to take the shot.
Yeah, and I honestly don't understand what the problem is with taking out Danny. No one's gonna be upset about it, and I kind of wonder if people had just been a little more vocal about how much they really wouldn't be bothered by it if Enzo would have just taken the shot, because that would have weakened Nicole, and Nicole needs to be weakened right now because she is working with Cody. Danny's really close to her, Ian's really close to her. There's too many people that are really close to her. Nobody would have been upset with Danny going, so that would have been such a good move. Even if Enzo didn't know all the inner workings of what's going on, of how insulated Nicole is, it would have helped everybody because Nicole is in a spot right now where she is hard to get to.
And the more you pick off these people on the outside of it, the harder it's going to be to sort of crack this. We've seen this time and time and time again on Big Brother, where you don't want to become the number one target of a lot of people that are in this big alliance. And I understand that. But if you want to win Big Brother, as opposed to make it and just be a member of the jury, like, Enzo could be in a position, hypothetically, and so could a lot of other people who are sort of on the bottom of that big alliance, where, yeah, maybe you can get to, like, 6th or 5th place, but you would be really reliant on a number of different things going your way to actually topple that big alliance later on, versus you make the move now, yeah, there's a much better chance you go in the next couple of weeks. But maybe you have authority on your own game. Maybe you actually boost your chances of making it to the end when you get to the final 6 if you can get there.
Yeah, Enzo's kind of in that sort of middle of the pack of that alliance, or closer to the bottom of that whole sort of. I know he's not in the blob, but he is blob adjacent, so he could end up in like, yeah, 6th or 7th or 8th, somewhere around there. If he had taken the idea to actually just move over to the other side of the house, build that as a bigger alliance, he would have been at the top of it because he would have been building that from his HOH, so he could have led that. But I kind of understand why he decided not to do that. Nobody over there's really won anything. If he did something like that, he can't play for HOH. He would have been really the only one that's won an HOH on that side. So if the other side won the HOH, Enzo for sure would be going home next week.
This is the one part of this that I do wonder a lot about, is the part of it related to Memphis. Could something actually happen where Memphis ends up leaving? Probably not, but I don't know how he pulled this off, but apparently he injured himself hosting the Power of Veto competition. Not competing in the Power of Veto, hosting the Power of Veto. This man injured himself.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, we have seen people, Christmas, with injuries that stayed in the game, but I mean, a back injury, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Hopefully he's not going to be taken out. I mean, Memphis isn't my favorite person,
Yeah, I know.
but I don't want to see anybody taken out with a medical emergency. It sucks.
I think he saw some sort of doctor about it already, and he's like hobbling around the house. And, you know, as somebody who broke a clavicle on a reality TV show, I don't feel like I'm altogether just like qualified to give someone else a hard time for wanting to like stay in there and fight. It's just like, you know, if you've got a bad back and you're Memphis, what would you rather do? Like actually play to try to win the game, or just sit at home and be in pain? You can sit in the house and be in pain if you feel comfortable and like you're okay to keep doing it. But Memphis now, if this back problem remains a thing, he is going to be the biggest dead weight imaginable, because he's just going to like fall immediately on every endurance challenge known to mankind.
Oh, for sure, which will then probably lead to Memphis being taken to the end, because then people will be able to beat him.
Memphis is the new Christmas, apparently, when it comes to injuries, because that was the weird thing about her. I remember when she won like that race head of household competition with like the bum leg, and everyone just gave up.
Yep.
I don't know if that's going to happen with Memphis. I don't know how long this is ultimately going to last, but that may unfortunately be one of Kaser's only hopes at the moment, is like something happens to Memphis, and nobody wants to root for that, so he's just kind of in a really terrible spot.
Yeah, I just think that this is going to be a week where Kaser goes home, and it really sucks to watch that happen, especially when Enzo is really pushing this idea that, oh, everyone, the house just wants him out, and that's not really the case anymore. Like, people will be like, yeah, it's fine if he goes.
Yeah.
But I think people would have been really behind that Danny move. There was a lot of people that were pushing for that. There was a lot of people that wanted David out and were pushing for Enzo to put up David. The only person that's really pushing for Kaser is Enzo.
This is the week of meh. Like, that's what everybody is doing. They're just sort of like, meh, we don't want to make a move. We just want to have our easy week, get out the easy target. We don't want to show our hands too early. Man, New School Big Brother, it can be good gameplay, but it's not always fun in the early going. I just want these people to take shots at each other already.
Those days have passed. We are now in the New School era where everybody just wants to make no waves, and then everybody just cannibalize each other at the end.
I am salty about it. I am a little bit bitter about it, but it is where it is. We will see what the fallout is.
I really thought that Enzo was going to put up Ian. That felt like a move that no one was going to be that upset about except Nicole. I really don't understand why he didn't just go for it.
I think
he must really believe that the house wants out Kaser so badly, and you know, watching the feeds, he doesn't get to see everything, but that's not 100% true.
He's like so confident in that, combined with being so afraid that like someone like Nicole is gonna go after him. And I know Nicole can win an HOH, but it's like one person. You gotta You gotta take risks in life, Enzo.
Yeah, and Nicole's not targeting Enzo at this point. Her and Danny have had a conversation where they are targeting the rest of the women in the house. He would have been all right.
Enzo. Well, all right. Well, we'll conclude this, but what do you guys think about the veto ceremony results? Do you have any ideas for Kaser? Give us your last-ditch suggestions in the comments, and if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further, check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.